Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to DCS World 2.9.4 and Razbam Simulations F-15E Strike Eagle. Welcome to Tutorial 7, Unguided Bombs. Today we're going to learn how to drop the Mark 82 and Mark 84 unguided bombs, both of which are available to drop in the Strike Eagle. You have three variants of each, with the Mark 82 being a 500-pound bomb and the Mark 84 being a 2,000-pound bomb. But they both come in free fall variants, or Snake Eye, which is the variant with the petals, which slow down its descent, and they also have air variants, which use a balut, an inflatable device at the back of the bomb, which slows down its drop as well. All of these variants work in exactly the same way, so today we're going to go for a loadout of Mark 82s and Mark 84s, just plain freefall. But note that if you did load either of the retarded drop versions, they would work in exactly the same way. And we're also going to show the two different ways of dropping weapons, or freefall weapons that is. CDIP, which is the equivalent of CCIP, and AUTO, which is the equivalent of CCRP, or Constantly Computed Release Point. CCIP, of course, being Constantly Computed Impact Point. So if we jump into the aircraft just now, let's take first a little look at the PAX system. I've covered it in a bonus video before, but we're going to quickly cover it again just now, so you can make sure that you're fully set up. So if we go main menu and choose armament page, we can then go to air to ground. Actually, we're in air-to-air combat master mode. Let's go to nav, and that will unbox that. And you can now see that across the top, we will get information about what is currently loaded on the aircraft. Now, you can only carry air-to-ground ordnance on pylons 2, 5, and 8. So that's the two wing pylons and the center pylon. And then you can also carry air-to-ground ordnance on the two conformal fuel tank sets of pylons, and those would normally be shown across the top. However, in this instance, we're only seeing pylon, pylon, pylon. So the aircraft has not as yet been loaded. Now, if I jump to the outside, yep, we can confirm there are in fact no weapons on the aircraft. So let's very quickly ask the ground crew to load us up with the weapons I want to carry. I'm going to carry Mark 84s on the center line and the wing pylons here. So that's pylons 2, 5, and 8. And on the conformals, I'm going to carry 6 times Mark 82 either side, which is quite a lot of ordnance, but for the F-15 this is nothing. It can carry this and more. Sometimes for air-to-ground missions you would actually reserve pylons 2 and 8 for external fuel tanks. It really depends how far you want to fly and how fast. But today we're just going to carry air-to-ground ordnance. We're also carrying for self-defense 2 AMRAAMs, 2 Sidewinders, and we're also carrying the Lantern targeting pod and the terrain following radar pod. So there we go, that's the complete loadout there.
Rearming complete.
Rearming is indeed complete. So we're going to jump back into the cockpit, and lo and behold, we now just have numbers across the top, but they do actually correspond to what's being carried. So we've got 16161, and those do correctly correspond. The aircraft has no ability to determine what weapons are on the pylons in the case of dumb weapons. It can auto-identify air-to-air weapons and smart weapons, but not dumb weapons. So let's press menu on the PAX system, and we're going to go to air-to-ground load. If I choose air-to-ground load, I can then step until I see the weapons I actually want to load on the aircraft. So here we go, Mark 82s and Mark 84s. I'm going to box Mark 84 first, and I'm going to tell it that I've got Mark 84s here, here, and here. Those are now correctly shown. If I choose Mark 82, I can then label the weapons on the conformal fuel tank. Note that there is this TCFT load option. I can go in here, and if we had a mixture of weapons on the conformal pylons, we could actually tell it what we were actually loading and where, but I'm not going to cover that today. And only very particular types of weapon can actually do this. I think when it comes to the smart weapons, this can be done with the JDAMs and the laser JDAMs, because they are identified the same on the aircraft. In any case, that's us. We've got the full loadout now. We can go back to menu and choose air to ground again, and we now do in fact have the correct weapons showing on the pack system. So now, time to go ahead and create our air to ground programs. You would generally do this on the ground before you began the mission. In fact, in the real world, you would do this in desktop planning and download it into your DTM, which would plug in down here, but perhaps that's a feature for the future once ED gives us that kind of functionality. So note at the bottom left we have our programs. We've got 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to create program 1 initially, and this will be for dropping the Mark 84s. So I'm going to box all of my Mark 84s. Each program can only have the one weapon type. And then it's going to ask us at the bottom, how are we going to drop it? CDIP or auto? For these, I'm going to do CDIP. And then how many we're going to drop? We're going to just step them. So that means one per station each time we pickle. And then our fusing options, we're going to choose nose and tail. So CDIP, stepped, nose and tail. All done. Let's jump to program 2. Program 2 will just be for the Mark 82s. Here we're going to demonstrate auto release, and we're going to do ripple multiples. And for the ripple multiple, we're going to drop all 12 that we have loaded on the aircraft with an interval of 30 feet. And we're then going to choose nose and tail fusing. And that's us programmed up for those 2 drops. At that point, we can go ahead and jump back to our main menu here. Just going to bring the HSI back up again. So that's all the pre-setup done of the aircraft. I'm now going to fly to the target area, and I will demonstrate dropping these weapons. Okay, so you rejoin me inbound the target area, and we're going to get set up to drop the Mark 84s initially, which, as you will recall, we had as a CDIP delivery with step for the number to deploy. So we're just rolling out kind of in the direction of the target just now. Let's go ahead and choose air to ground master mode. We're then going to go ahead and turn master arm to on. And then on the right hand DDI, I'm going to bring up the armament page, air to ground, and make sure that I have program 1 selected. And there you can see confirmed on screen, we have CDIP showing up on the screen here. And time to release is shown on the right hand side. This is based on the current location under the pipper. So I'm going to continue inbound. We have the auto cycle set, so nav point 2 is actually our IP. It will then auto cycle to nav point 3, which is in fact the target. So I'm going to continue inbound just now. I'm actually going to accelerate a little bit so we get there quicker. 10 miles to the IP. And yeah, when you have the program selected, it confirms what pylons you're going to release from. So you can see that I have pylons 2, 5, and 8 boxed, and the system confirms that those are Mark 84s. We also have boxed air-to-ground combat, so we know we're in the correct master mode. Actually going to go ahead and cycle to point number 3 straight away just now. What do I have to say? 3 dot. Is that how it works? Yes. So 3 dot, I now have the target pre-selected. Let's come to the left. And the diamond in the HUD is showing me where my target area is. I'm going to go ahead and actually just choose one of the buildings off to the right of that. And I'm going to attack the target with just a little bit of a dive, so I can get the symbology in the HUD nicely there. So, Pipper on target. Pickle. The weapon is away, and then you get time to impact showing up on the screen. So let's climb away. We'll show the flight path of the Mark 84 here. Hopefully that hits somewhere near the target. I was targeting this building here. Perfect. We've dropped that building. Excellent. And it took it from the center line first. It will then drop one of the wing pylons next for my next target. So, nice stuff. That's how you do a CDIP. If I go ahead now and cycle to program 2, I'm pre-programmed for the auto release, and I've actually created a target point. So I actually want to attack here target point 01 from waypoint 3. So I can press 3.01 enter that. It's now set as my steer point, and you'll see that on the HUD it shows target 3.01 alpha. So that confirms that that is what the system is going to use as my target. Now, you can actually do an auto release against any type of designation that you have, but we've not done the radar or the targeting pod tutorials yet. So for today, we're just going to do a nav designation based on a target point. I actually manually entered this target point using coordinates. So we're going to go back around, and we're going to get the steering line basically centered on the flight path marker. That's how this method of release works. As you'll remember from the beginning of the video, I'm set up for a release of 12 weapons with 30-foot spacing, so quite a lot of weapons to come off. We have 10 seconds time to release. It's also giving us our distance and a confirmation of the mode. Down comes the line. I'm going to push and hold pickle and steer as best I can. Weapons are coming off, and they're all away. That was very quick, actually, because I had a very short spacing. Let's hit F6 and see all these 12 Mark 82s coming down. This is going to be very exciting indeed when they strike my designation, which was actually just the middle of one of the runways, just to make this very easy to follow. Let's see how accurately I actually did this. Down we come. Pause the camera there. Boom, 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 boom. That was actually quite accurate. That's pretty much exactly the point I designated. So all 12 Mark 82s off. We had a time to impact displaying on the HUD after release, but I changed cameras so you didn't see it. So very, very simple. The methodology for deploying unguided weapons in the F-15. That was an auto, and then prior to that was a CDIP or a CCIP. Mostly, you put the thing on the thing and you hold down the pickle, as is often the case. And yes, I switched my waypoint 3 to a target waypoint as I demonstrated before in the navigational video by making sure that I had the waypoint selected, and I then entered 3 dot to make it a target point, and then I created my target point off of that waypoint by entering 3.01 and doing a northing and an easting. This was all done from the steer point page on the UFC. Okay, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you all enjoyed that. If you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. It's a really big help to me and to the channel. You also have the option of further supporting the channel by joining Deephack's ground crew. Thank you very much to those of you who've already done so. It's a small monthly fee, approximately the same as the cost of a cup of coffee, and it really helps me in creating this content. The names of those who are already in the ground crew are on screen now. You've got some small benefits in that we have a Discord server that we share together, and we also occasionally fly together from time to time. So thank you all very much for watching. Fly safe, and I'll see you all next time.